Okay. All right. Welcome back. I think we will close chapter 3 today, and I think it will be a very short episode because last episode ran really long, and I have a feeling that this will be like 10 or 20 minutes. I'm very sorry about that, but I don't really want to. I want to have like closed chapters, you know, so people can watch it like as a full chapter and not have like one episode be the end of chapter 3 and then the beginning of chapter 4. That would be just weird. Okay. Especially you, Kanika, we don't want that cold of yours to get any worse. Oh, I guess Kanika had a cold? Did she? Yeah, she probably mentioned it. I can't... No, I think I even remember that she mentioned it. Okay. There was another carving in there. They keep giving me visions. I spent a lot of time with Wayne in there. Yeah, I should tell them, right? Yeah, my character, I tell everyone. Sorry, I just started a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough in private, not as a Let's Play. And there, my character doesn't tell anyone anything. You know, that's kind of what they're going with. And so I, I just got confused for a bit. Like, am I telling people? Yeah. Yeah, I noticed. We could smell him as soon as he snapped out of it. Yeah, he's very, very stinky boy. What happened? Did he hurt you? He seemed to know something about whoever Avery was playing. He crushed a ditchling under his boot. It was pretty scary. No, but he gives me really bad vibes. I don't know. I think he's harmless. Let's go with whatever gives us the most information. Because that is interesting, right? Really? That's super weird and super interesting. Why would he know anything about things that happened here over 80 years ago? Wasn't he a drifter? Okay, so it was 80 years ago. So the witch that was mentioned couldn't have been any of the people here because no one is over 80, right? And then that also means that whoever is in the house with Tabitha and us is either supernaturally old or a ghost or yeah, no, there's no third option really. Okay, well, yeah. There was someone else in there, but that's my house. Rosalina and I live there. If Wayne was a drifter, maybe he was the one who knew the weird guy with the oily peanuts at the beginning? Huh. Okay. Oh, Oscar. Yeah. So he's worried. No. It's... What did he say to you? We don't need to trouble Hula for the details. No one pay any mind to that man. No, I want to pay mind. Sybil, what are you playing at? He's just a drifter. He'll be gone soon enough. In the meantime, steer clear and you won't make trouble. Sybil knows something. Sybil... Oh, and Sybil is probably the one person in town who still has good relations with Tabitha. So she probably knows about the person in Tabitha's house. And she wants to protect that person / creature and Tabitha. And she just wants to bamboozle us. Yeah, I'm not falling for that. I can't believe I let Rosalina go in there. How could I have been so careless? I'm not quite sure if Wayne lived there, Oscar. I think he just appeared to help us. Because I think they would have smelled him, you know. After everything she went through in the last day, how could I have let this happen? Yeah, I told her to stay back. Oscar, you should have told her as well. Like... He really is. I think that's why she is the way she is. He's a bit of a pushover, right? And that's why, because she seems to be a really good kid, but she's very defiant. And I think she is defiant because first of all, I don't think living in the library, in a makeshift flat in the library, is such a bad deal. Like, they didn't lose their house. There was just something wrong with the house for a while, living in the library. It's not... Like, they're not homeless or anything, you know. That's my personal opinion. I've never been in the place where I had to live in a library. To be quite honest, it's one of my fantasies, so who am I to judge? But still, I feel like she is overblowing a lot of what happened there, because it was also out of control, of Oscar's control, right? If the house, like, is a big blood stain in your room that just manifests there, that's super creepy, you know. And I'd rather stay in the library than in my bloodstained room. And I get that it's, you know, ripping you from what you know and the place where you're comfortable in. But I feel like she's really overreacting a lot. Like, typical teenage overreaction, obviously, but also not the kind of where you're like, yeah, it's sensible. No, it's typical teenage drama. And then for her to get out of the hospital, which I still think is highly unrealistic, and then to be like, I want to go in on the ghost hunt. In Oscar's case, and I actually was stronger than Oscar was in that place, I would have told her, no, the fuck you are. You stay back, and if you don't, we have a serious problem, Missy. And I don't understand why you let her go. I would have, honestly, I would have blew it up on her, because she's still so vulnerable. She needs to rest. You know, just because she's on pain meds and feels invincible right now doesn't mean that she is. And it's like, and what I don't get is that this attitude got her into the mess in the first place, in the mines. So she hasn't learned anything, and she's still continuing to go on that same path. And that's what I would have thrown at her, to be basically, because of this attitude, you know, you ended up in the mines with your friends and you all could have died. So please, can you for once listen to me? Anyways, I'm going on a rant here. But yeah, so that's why Oscar, you should have, you know, put your foot down. You couldn't have known what was going to happen, Oscar. You actually tried pretty hard to warn us. There was another carving in there. You should have stopped us from going in there. Well, no, we are all adults. There's a difference between his daughter and, you know, were you all conscious that whole time? Everyone glances at each other. Yeah. Ooh, it was awful. Kind of fun too, but mostly awful. Avery, man, he's a glass half full type of guy, right? I'm pretty sure we remember everything, at least up until that guy showed up and snapped us out of it. Wayne, he's been following Hula around. What did he say to you? Like I said, let's not trouble Hula about him. Just stay away, all of you. Sybil, shut up. I've had it, you know. I actually don't want to say Oscar, none of us could have known, don't blame yourself, because I feel like in Rosalina's case, he let two teenagers tag along. That's okay. We also had Zane with us, but I feel like Zane seems a lot older, right? So hopefully, yeah. Okay, it's also my fault, I guess, for inviting Zane. There was another carving in there. I want to know about that. And one of those things are tied to everything supernatural that's been happening. Actually, yes, I am wondering. Yeah, I wonder. One is a coincidence, but two of them on back-to-back nights? That's a pattern. And you and Stella are right, and there's another one in the clinic. I'm sorry, I'm a little lost. You've been finding carvings around town, and they've been giving you visions? This is news to me, too. I'm sure everyone here could stand around theorizing about this and that all night long. There'll be plenty of time for that tomorrow. Sybil, can you go? You're interrupting our flow of conversation. What was it like being puppeted? They all glance away. It hurt. Why didn't I make the kids stay behind? I can't believe I let that happen to them. Yeah, we all could have done that. Dad, this might be the overwhelming pain and exhaustion talking, but shut up. I love you. None of this is your fault, okay? Yeah, Rosalina, it's also your fault. But it's also Oscar's fault. He's your dad. He should have not let you get in there. I had no idea what I was going to say until the words were already spilling out. It was like I had no control over myself. I remember each and everything I said. It's like it was burned into my memory. You poor souls, I can't begin to imagine what you've all been through. Do any of you know who you were supposed to be? No idea. The word just came out. There was no context, nothing. But there was a weird feeling, like an overwhelming guilt. I was so angry. I was mostly just scared. I didn't feel any of those things. I don't know how to describe it. I felt powerful. I was just cold. Oh, that's interesting. It all depends on their respective characters, right? Man, you really need to do like a whole logbook of what happened, because we could have tied all these emotions to the specific characters. Do we wanna... Yeah, let's say none of us. Don't blame yourself, whatever. I said my piece, you know what I mean, you know. So let's go with this one. I'd seen it before. I should have known it could get worse. I shouldn't have let Rosalina come with us. Dad, what did I tell you? Stop blaming yourself. You couldn't have stopped me. If you tried, we were just gonna sneak in after you. Oh, Rosalina, you fucking... Oh, that's why I don't have kids. I could not deal with this. Ah. Yeah, Rosalina was going to make us go in there no matter what. You didn't put a ghost in our house. This is not on you. Oh, but it's partially on you, Rosalina, because also, yes, they're teenagers, but also they're old enough to know better. To know about, like, she's literally knows about consequences now. Like, I can't... How reckless can you really be with your own safety? Okay, I know you've both had a difficult time of this, but the storm has passed and everything's worked out. Things will start getting better from here. We should probably get going. It's starting to get chilly out and there's still work to do to get Rosalina set up for the night. Yeah, but now the house is clean, right? That's cool. And Rosalina has a cool little basement in her room. Oh my god. That could be an amazing reading nook. Don't be a stranger and let us know if you need anything, Oscar. I will, thank you, all of you, again. I believe it's time for me to get my daughter home as well. But, Kanika dear, you haven't been feeling well. You need to get some rest. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, Hula. Yeah, I haven't forgotten about what we talked about this morning, but I'm wired and want to talk about stuff. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. If I manage to get out of bed, then yeah. I don't know. I'm stuck here, aren't I? Yeah, let's do that. Cool. Neither have I. Kanika wearily tracks back to the general store. I'll be back in a moment to walk you home, dear. I just need to put the tea on and give your cousin a quick call. Sybil leaves you and catches up to her daughter. My whole body hurts, Mom. What was that? And I want a better answer than a ghost. You'll be alright. Let me get you some of that special tea. It's been working well, don't you think? Is it? Because didn't Kanika get ill? Oh, Sybil, what are you up to? I think ibuprofen would be better, but I gotta admit the tea has been nice. I'll put the kettle on as soon as we get home. I guess it's just two of us now. So you have no idea who you were? I could roughly place most of the others. None whatsoever. But I remember everything I said, and I remember that cold feeling. A prisoner of the Scarlets. I wonder what your family was up to back then. I guess we can add it to the ever-growing pile of mysteries. What do you remember? As far as I know, all of it. I might start forgetting soon, but for now, it's all fresh. The twisting wasn't the most pleasant, but even though I feel like I got tossed in a blender, it honestly made me feel so alive. So, you don't regret coming along tonight? Look, that was a horrible experience that will stick with me for the rest of my days. But it was also kind of amazing for that. I don't know if that makes sense, but how many other people can say they were possessed by a ghost? I'd rather not. I'm very much, you know, I have a curious mind, but I don't think I'm the kind of person who wants to go through trauma to say, well, I experienced it, you know, and I grew from it. It's more like when these kind of things happen, not ghost possession, just bad things, you know, then I'm like, well, the one thing I got out of it was XYZ. But if I could go back in time and not live through that, I would rather do that, you know. Hot, you know, take. But yeah, I'd rather not go through the horrible, painful stuff. So yeah, I don't agree, Avery. I guess you finally got some shared trauma with everyone now. What? Oh my god, that's horrible. Okay, let's say it. Although I don't agree, this is horrible. Avery chuckles, then grabs at their ribs, wincing. Yeah, I guess I do, huh? I know tonight was horrific, but it was also thrilling, and knowing we all went through it together, it makes it easier. Yeah, I thought that would be the choice, because the other one would be just by, and that felt a little bit, you know, short, and that's why I picked the other one, which I didn't really agree with. There are people to commiserate with tomorrow morning, when the soreness really starts to set in. Which reminds me, I'd better get back home. I'm supposed to have a shift tomorrow morning. I might have to call in sick, but I was hoping a good night's sleep is enough to heal up. Avery heads off, leaving the square in front of the library empty. Sybil returns not long after Avery leaves. It's time to go back to the estate. Your cousin wasn't exactly thrilled to hear about what happened tonight, but I think I blunted her anger as much as I could. Shall we? Yeah, go back to the estate. You once again find yourself on a long trek back up to the estate. Oh, there they are. The night feels cold, the crunch of leaves beneath your feet deafening in the quiet wilderness. Let's stop here for a bit. These old bones need a moment to rest. Sybil, really? In the middle of the ditchlings. Oh, this woman. There's ditchlings everywhere. There are. I'm afraid that the spirit you dealt with tonight was merely a symptom of the rot here, rather than its cause. People are unfortunately just going to have to get used to the sight of these things in the coming days. I'm sorry my reading is worse than usual, which is already not good. I'm sorry. I would say I'm a little bit under the weather, but maybe I'm just really bad at reading. Okay. Are you a witch? Sheila, I was surprised by your question. I suppose some people might call me one, but I'm just an old woman who fancies herself a bit of a healer. That was a silly question, sorry. Don't be sorry, dear. I'm sure your mind is absolutely swimming with all sorts of questions right now. It's only natural to be curious. Yeah, also the noise is kind of making me a little bit... wah. That's enough rest for me. Let's carry on for a bit. No! Oh, shit. I didn't know it was limited. Oh, damn it. Oh, well. I know there's an autosave function where in some cases you can replay stuff, but I will go, like, whoosh, full through. I think I would make an exception if one of the key characters I like would die. Then I might try something else, but as for now, if I accidentally skip something or choose the wrong, you know, choice, question, answer, reply, then I'll just go with it. You and Sybil walk deeper into the woods. You're getting closer to the estate. One last rest and we'll get you home. Okay. Okay. Edward Dean called Charles Jr., but it feels like I'm only scratching the surface of things. What has my family done? There was a stone carving of a goat's head and a pack of wolves in that basement. Sybil, what is Wayne? Why can't I just go home like to my real home? Okay. Edward Dean, yeah, let's go with that, because that's like really the core. Oh, look at him. Okay. Is that what the spirit showed you? Your family built one of the most powerful coal empires in Appalachia. Those sorts of things don't come about without betrayal and bloodshed. These are all assumptions, of course. I'm just an old woman who enjoys her tea, and the Scarlet Empire is far older than these rattling bones. If you want the bloody details, I'm afraid you'll have to find them yourself. Okay, do we want to talk about Wayne, or... I think Wayne is the best person to ask about Wayne. So I will ask about the stone carving, because that might be something that she knows about. I saw something similar in the mines. A circle of arms and chains, both of them gave me visions. Was there now? That's quite an interesting development. Perhaps we can discuss these visions over tea. My grandmother had a special blend that supposedly helped with dreams and visions. Yes. Oh, I guess we're getting drunk tomorrow. I'll be sure to have some ready by tomorrow. Maybe it'll help us piece things together. As long as your grandmother's special blend tastes better than the chaga you gave Avery yesterday. You just believed me? Of course she did. Tea tomorrow. Sounds nice. Lovely. I'll be looking forward to it. Oh, Sybil, what is Wayne? He's just a man. No, he's not. The smile briefly fades from her face. It's not exactly polite to share people's medical history. I may not have taken a Hippocratic oath, but I still respect the privacy of others. So she's treating him? Because otherwise that just didn't make any sense. Like, if you know about him without treating him, then whatever, you know, you don't, like... I still respect the privacy. So she knows what's up with him. Why would I ask this? Oh my god, those background noises are horrible. There's a low voice. Oh, that's super creepy. Like you have the high whisper. And then the why. Okay, are you ready to get moving again? I don't want to ask the question about home because... What? I can go home anytime. I just don't? I am. The estate shouldn't be much farther. You and Sybil trek through the remainder of the woods and find yourselves on the outskirts of the estate. I'm looking forward to continuing our chat tomorrow once you've had some time to rest. Good luck handling Tabitha. I tried to soften her up over the phone, but there's only so much softening you can do with someone that prickly. Bless her heart. I don't give a shit by now. You know, whatever she has to go through. Get a good night's rest, Hula. You've earned it. Sybil heads back through the woods, leaving you alone to face Tabitha. Enter the estate. Yeah. Whatever. You open the door to the estate as quietly as you can, only to find your cousin anxiously pacing in the foyer. She's been waiting for you. I see you finally decided to drag your sorry ass back here. I don't even know what to say. I've told you so many times to stay out of trouble, to keep you posted about where you are, to come home in a timely manner. Man, you know what? She doesn't care for me. She doesn't care about me. She's not making in any way sure that I'm cared for, which is fine. She's grieving, you know. But then let me do my thing, Tabitha. Honestly. What's the point of saying it all again? Clearly you just don't care how your actions affect me, and I don't know how to make you care. How do they affect you? Use your words, Tabitha. You know, you have to talk to me instead of expecting me to just know what you want me to do. We need to talk. Now's really not the... Yeah, fuck off, Tabitha, then. Then I will do my stuff. Then I will do my little silly adventures. Because if you're not willing to talk, I can't read minds, you know, and I'm not willing to sit in the house 24/7 just so you... No. I just... No. Look, it's in real life, I would be very much more understanding, you know, because also I wouldn't be dragged into any adventures. That's not me. You know, I have, you know how some people have resting bitch face? I probably have like resting don't get me involved face. But in this case, you know, and I'm talking as my character, we're already in everything, involved in everything. So, yeah. Oscar's house was haunted by the ghost of Charles Shaw Jr., who was murdered by Edward Dean Scarlet. I managed to convince the ghost to move on. She will not believe us. Was there a gas leak in the library or something? Do you realize how ridiculous you sound right now? There were like 6 other people there, and they all got possessed. They can corroborate everything I'm telling you. Didn't Sybil tell you about what happened? Why won't you believe me? Why won't you ever believe me? Do you think Edward Dean really could have killed someone? Wow. You name-dropped our great-grandmother and the son of the most famous criminal in this town's history. I'm so convinced this actually happened. Wayne followed me into Oscar's house. Do you think mentioning that awful man is supposed to garner sympathy from me or something? So you do know him. Did I ever say I didn't? He's a creep from a bad time in my life, and I do my best not to think about him, which has become an increasingly difficult task. What is he? A sick man that you should avoid. If I could get him to stop talking to you, I would. He's not the decent man I used to know. I keep finding these weird stone carvings, and you know what? Leave it at that. Whatever. Are we done then? Great, I'm going to bed. Yeah, whatever, Tabitha. I don't give a shit. Look, I want to stay until the funeral to support her. And if she needs me, I am here. But I will not let her tell me what to do in the time that she goes off doing other things. Like, I will not spend all my days in my room wallowing. If the moment she says, you know, I'm busy, you know, whatever, I will leave you now, I can do whatever I want. I'm my own person. And it's not her business. It really isn't. And I think that's why I'm frustrated with her character. That she's like, you have no idea how much your actions affect me. And I'm like, well, tell me. I literally have no idea because you never talk to me. You don't tell me anything. So fuck off, really. And I'm not saying fuck off to her, you know. It's just that in my head I would say that. And again, I know she's grieving, but I also feel like hearing from everyone else, she has been horrible way before the loss of her mother. So that's just her, and yeah. Your cousin walks off, leaving you alone. I don't know why I'm so harsh today. But maybe it's getting to the point, like, I think that's why Kanika is so fed up with Tabitha, you know? And why Stella is so annoying with her vouching for Tabitha, because you're like, look, some people are just miserable. It's fine. But Tabitha makes sure that everyone gets a share of her misery. You know, she's not just miserable in her own corner. She always kind of puts her misery on everyone's shoulders and blames everyone else for it. So she never is the one who's responsible for her own misery. It's always everyone else. And that is so annoying, you know. Okay, you don't even notice yourself entering the guest room and falling into bed. Suddenly you're just there, buried under your family's musty covers. It's Wednesday night. Nearly half a week has passed since you first arrived in town, and a little over half a week remains until the bus comes to take you home. The spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. has been put to rest, but disaster still looms over the town of Scarlet Hollow. Still, tonight was a good night, and you fall asleep with a gentle, well-earned smile on your face. Episode 4 waits. If you'd like to save before continuing, please do so now. Alrighty! Good. So we ended this with... I thought we would get, like, a small opportunity to flirt with Avery, but I guess not, because he stayed, and then we didn't get anything out of him, so I'm not quite sure why... Maybe if we would have had a different relationship with him, then we would have had more stuff to say and talk to him about, because as it was like, well, that scene wasn't really necessary, was it? Sybil is really interesting. Sybil, first of all, knows a lot more than she leads on, and she is kind of on the different spectrum from Tabitha, but the same of not coming forward with anything, which is super annoying. It's one of my pet peeves in movies and series when everything gets more complicated and more dangerous because one single person is not telling the truth. I'm currently watching the show Vox Machina. It's very entertaining. It's from Critical Role, like the Dungeons and Dragons peeps. But every single character has so many secrets, and then turns out keeping those secrets puts everyone else in danger. So what do? They keep on having secrets, and they never talk it out. And there's another show, one of my favorite, like, cozy, feel-good shows, which is Killjoys. And they kind of append this trope where no one really has, like, of the main characters, you know, they trust each other and everything. No one really keeps a secret for too long, and it's so nice, you know, because it's also another pet peeve, like when someone won't tell things and then the other person just backs off. But when it's something really important, you know, maybe life or death, man, you just corner that person until they tell you, you know? I mean, why would you be polite in that situation? And that's the nice thing about Killjoys. They're like, okay, come on, you need to tell us because this is obviously dangerous. And I love that. But yeah, I hate these kind of characters because it's always like, oh, you know, everything would be so much easier if you just would tell me what's going on. Tabitha, why is all of this is it really affecting you? Because you have no relationships to Oscar. You don't know Rosalina very well. You don't like Stella and Kanika. You yourself told me, you know. So why the heck do you care that I spend time with them, that we're ghost hunting? Has nothing to do with you. You don't even believe the whole ghost possession stuff. So what's it to you that we spend an afternoon doing stupid stuff that apparently never happened, in your opinion? And then Sybil is even more egregious because she is not as, you know, emotionally stunted as Tabitha, but she also is unwilling to tell anything. Wayne was the same, you know, where I was like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, you don't need to know. And I'm like, oh god, it's so annoying. And I hope in the next chapter when we start it, we will get some more out of these characters. Because, yeah, it is a pet peeve of mine. It really is. It's, I understand it for dramatic sake, but sometimes it's just annoying. It is just annoying. When you know that person could tell you everything and they could clear up a lot of things. And they could also make sure that maybe you approach a situation differently, more securely, you know, but they won't indulge because, I don't know, Sybil for some reason. And the weird thing is that she's like, oh, I will not divulge in any medical. And then you're like, oh, he's sick, you know, because I thought he was like possessed or whatever, but he's sick, I guess. So she's like vague posting, you know. She's just saying enough to be like, I will share a little bit of it, you know, but I will not tell you the rest. And then it's like, Sybil, you could have just said you don't know, you know. So this vague posting stuff makes it worse, Sybil. You know, you're being a drama queen. You're living for it. Come on. But yeah, really looking forward to the tea session with Sybil in chapter 4, I guess. And then, oh yeah, we want to break into the clinic. So I guess those are the two things we plan for the next day. I also kind of am now at a place where I want to explore the house because I know there might be a prisoner and I want to know who that is. So yeah, this was a chaotic chapter, gotta admit, but I had a lot of fun with it. I got the tip of maybe writing down names and relations, and I might do that if I remember, because I always want to do stuff and then I start the next chapter, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. So if I remember, I might have a little family tree, you know, just to keep my head up on the Shaws and the Scarlets and how everyone is related, and that what we saw was 80 years ago. That was really helpful because honestly, I can't remember that this was said during the entire hallucination scene, and that was really important information to also know, could there anyone be still alive who we've seen in these scenes? And I guess there's no one that old in our circle of friends, except anyone who might be undead or, you know, in any other way supernatural. So that was really good information. But yeah, I might take some notes. I might also, my idea was to basically read up on the wiki for the first 3 chapters in case, but then it's difficult with the wiki because obviously you have so many choices. But maybe the character wikis because usually a wiki is structured in a way that you can read chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So I will check that out if I find something there. But if not, if it gets too spoilery, if I find out, you know, then I will not use the wiki. But yeah, I'll see what I can do to maybe be a little bit more informed in the next chapter. But if not, I also think for me it's still very entertaining to bumble my way through, because that also seems like realistic for me in real life, because I'm not good with names. Like if I read something, like we read 10 books in the library, you know, how would I know and remember everything? So for me, you know, it also would be really realistic to, even if it was like 2 days ago or 1 day ago that I read it in the library, I would still be like, who's that? What? But yeah, if you picked anything up that I didn't, or if you have any opinion on the characters, for example, Sybil or Wayne or Tabitha, without spoiling anything, please let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion or even your take on certain situations and characters. And I might start a different game between chapter 3 and chapter 4, because it's been on my wait list for quite a while and I really want to play it. So just as a heads up, I might do it parallel, but I'm not quite sure yet because I don't know how long it will be. So yeah, that's that. And have a nice day. See you next time. Bye. This is my self-recorded outro song so I don't get hit with copyright claims. If you subscribe to a lot of fun tutorials, reviews, and let's plays.